Hey, good evening, everybody, or whoever might be on here. It's 8 o'clock. We are live, and there's no turning back now. Welcome, everybody. And as an Australian friend of mine used to say, how well are you today? I always loved that, the way he said that. He would say, how well are you today? And then they would say, what are you talking about? Oh, I guess I'm very well. Anyway, just to introduce myself, my name is David Franzine, and I am an online marketer in my part time hours. Also, besides that, I am a long time team member at Universal Studios Florida, where for 25 years I worked in the entertainment department, primarily as a performer. The last few years I've worked in the security department. And while I enjoy my work, I love the people I work with, I love the place I work, I decided a few years ago, you know what, I might like to retire someday. And well, I think I'll be okay in retirement. I've got some 401k, I've got my Social Security I'll be able to draw on in a few years. Um, I decided that I just didn't want to take the chance of just wondering and thinking maybe I'll be okay financially. I wanted to be sure I'd be okay financially. So I went online a few years ago. I've dabbled off and on online for a few years now, but I haven't really had a lot of success. I did have some success with one company for a few months, but unfortunately they went out of business. So that was into that income stream. So I've tried off and on for a few years, and I've struggled a little bit. But the last 3 months, I started with a new company that is really on the cutting edge. It's in the health and wellness industry, and they're a fantastic company with great leadership. And I have a determination to stick with it and really make it happen this time. And I'm already, because of my determination and my conviction, I'm seeing better results this time around. And I plan on sticking with it. And that kind of leads me into tonight's subject. And I came up with a title, which is called, Are You Old Enough for This? Because I'm going to talk a little bit about age and what age has to do with goal setting and achievement and dream making and that sort of thing. So when you're growing up, you hear that a lot as you go through different phases of your young life, your young adulthood. People are always asking, "Are you old enough for this?" So I'm going to kind of turn that around and flip the script a little bit on that. And what I want to kind of talk about tonight is more of when you get a little bit older, what happens with primarily what I'm concerned with tonight is goal setting, dream building, achievement, attaining a higher level, a higher station in life, and how that kind of shifts as we get a little bit older and why I think it shouldn't. And forgive me if I'm a little scattered tonight. I worked a 10-hour shift today. I'm a little tired, and I didn't take any notes. Well, come to think of it, I usually don't have notes. But anyway, so I want to talk about the age thing. My mental shift as far as this goes has really changed over the last year or two. And, I was thinking today, maybe that's just because I'm getting a little bit older and because I didn't want to just settle and realize that maybe I've achieved all I'm going to achieve and gone as high as I'm going to go. So maybe that's why I adapted my thinking and made the adjustment in my thinking. But I'm glad I did, because at this stage of my life, I'm in my late 50s, and I feel more on fire and determined and driven than I probably ever have been. More so than when I was in my 20s, or more so than I was in my 30s or my 40s. So I think that's tremendous that I've been able to do that. But a lot of people don't have that same attitude. I remember a gentleman several years back that I knew quite well, and he was in like his mid 40s, and he had already cashed it in, as far as his thinking as far as life, basically. He was just, I think, in high school, maybe he had been a bit of a stud athlete, and had his kind of glory days in high school. And then he went into business for himself and, had some success over the years, but things had kind of tapered off when he was in his mid 40s. And I was talking to him one night, and he was just like, it was like he was ready to die, like he was just had that discouraging sort of attitude. And, the sad thing is he did die a few years later when he was in his early 50s. And, I thought that was a shame, because back then I was probably still in my early 40s, and I still had a lot of hope and desires and feelings of wanting to attain things in the future. Because I've always said this, as long, no matter how bad things are, no matter how low you get, if you still have the desire and the hope to change things for the better, to achieve a better life, then you're in the right place. Your mindset is in the right place. So with that being said, the last several months, I really have grown a lot in this area. And, I'm 59, but I feel like I'm 95. Wait, no, wait a second. That's not good. That's not good. That's not what I meant to say. Well, when I'm 62, I'll be able to say I could be 62. I could be 26. I feel like I'm 26. I guess it doesn't work when you're 59. You can't flip it around like that. But anyway, I feel young at heart. I feel young in spirit. And so this subject tonight, I apologize. I don't mean to exclude anybody, but it is more or less geared to some of my older audience out there. And I just want, but it doesn't really matter what age you are. I know people in their 30s and 40s that don't have any dreams or goals or anything like that anymore. So it doesn't matter what age you are. The thing is, you need to find some passion in your life. You need to find something that gets you excited, and then go out there and get it. I was at my event for my online company this past weekend, a 3-day event here in Orlando, and it was tremendous. The energy was great. The speakers they had were tremendous. I learned a lot. I grew a lot. And yes, even at my age, I grew. Okay. So it can happen. And I was thinking, I've kind of limited myself over the last few years, because as I'm getting older, I've had in my mind that, well, maybe I should taper off my expectations. Maybe my best days are behind me. Maybe this high achievement is for the younger crowd. And that was my thinking. And even at the beginning of this weekend, when I was at the event, I'd see people up there on stage, and we do something in our company called rank recognition. And when you achieve a certain level of volume that you've brought into your business, you get an award. And the first level is 1K. Now that doesn't mean $1,000 in income. It means 1,000 in business volume. And what that equates out to financially, I'm not sure. But I do know when you get up to, say, a 10K affiliate or a 25K or 50K or higher, you're making pretty good money. So as I would see these people walk across the stage and achieve certain levels, and they were up to as high as the 500K affiliates, and there were only a couple of those people that had made that level since the company has been around for a few years here. But I was thinking to myself, well, in the beginning of the weekend, I was thinking, well, maybe within 3 or 4 years, because my goal is to work on this while I'm approaching my retirement, which I think is going to be in about 4 years from Universal. And so my goal is just to build the business a little bit at a time in my part-time hours, And then hopefully by the time I retire in 4 years, my income from the online business will be pretty substantial. And that will be an asset in my retirement years. And, money that I could do good things with, I could have for my family, for friends, to donate, a certain amount. And I'm going to probably talk about that tomorrow night. Now that I think about it, I have to come up with subjects for like 4 more days because I'm doing a 21-day Facebook Live challenge, and I'm on day 17 right now. So I think tomorrow I'll talk about that, maybe giving back some, sowing some before you reap. That's a subject I haven't spoke on yet. But anyway, so at the beginning of the weekend, getting back to what I was saying, I was limiting myself, and I was like, well, these people that are reaching, 100K status, 250K status, that's amazing, especially some of them have done it in a short period of time, being in the company only maybe like a few months. So I was like, that's tremendous. But for me, I'm just content. I'm happy to get maybe to be a 10K affiliate. As a 10K affiliate, I'd probably be making a few $1,000s a month. And, that would be around 50 grand a year or something. That's not too shabby. And then, towards the end of the event, my thinking shifted completely on that. I was like, why should I limit myself? Why, just because I'm a little bit older, why can't I have the same desires, the same burning passion and excitement to achieve some goals as somebody half my age? I mean, unfortunately, we tend to do that as a society. As people get a little bit older, we seem to kind of get pushed out, not noticed as much. For example, when I was 54 years old, I lost my performance job at Universal. And I auditioned a couple times after that, trying to get a performance role. But I think they had decided at that point that they were done with me. They always want new, young, fresh talent, so to speak. And so they kind of pushed me, and that really took me into a dark place for a couple of years where I was really depressed. I felt my life was over. I felt like I didn't have anything left to do or achieve. And that was kind of sad. But as I said, over the last couple of years, I've really turned that around. And so by the end of the event this weekend, I had totally shifted my thinking into, why can't I set my goals to be a 50K or a 100K affiliate or a 250K affiliate? So what that I may have a few years on me? The only, downside is maybe I don't have as many years left to enjoy the fruits of my labor, but I can still take satisfaction even if I don't hit my ultimate goal till I'm like 70. I can still take pride in the fact that I did make something of myself. I did achieve a certain high level, and I proved that to myself. And there's no reason I can't have the same energy, the same stamina, the same drive, and set my goals just as high as anybody else. For a long time, I had that limited thinking as I was getting older that, well, I'm getting older now, I'm just going to go for the low hanging fruit. But that's stinking thinking. There's no reason. So whether you're young, whether you're 16, 17, 18 years old, whether you're old, even older than me, there were people at this event that were 10, 15 years older than me. God bless them. And they still in their heart had that desire to want to improve their lives, financially, in this case. But it could go for whatever kind of goal you might have. So anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. I'm excited. I'm really excited because the way I look at it is I've got 3 or 4 years till I retire. And then I'm going to build my business during that time. Then the cool thing is when I retire, I'll have even more time to devote to my business, which should be pretty well established and doing fairly well at that time. And then I'll have more time to spend working with my team, growing my business even more. And then, hell, maybe I'll retire from it all, because I'll probably be making pretty decent money by then. I'll retire from it all maybe when I'm 70, and then I'll just go golfing every other day or whatever. But it excites me that I'm going to have something to do in retirement rather than just sit around and wait to die. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of cool. There was one other thing I was going to say. Now I can't remember what it was. Oh, I know. I was going to just tell you something kind of funny. I've always kind of thought that this has kind of been my thinking over the last few years. And I've always thought, well, I'm going to get older. I'm probably going to get uglier. I'm probably going to get fatter. But the one thing is, I don't want to be broke. So there might not be much you could do about it. I'm probably going to get older, uglier, and fatter, but I damn sure don't want to be old, ugly, fat, and broke. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm taking this challenge in my life to do something to improve myself financially and to help others. That's because that's one of my goals too, is I want to help others overcome their self-limiting beliefs and achieve financial freedom. So that is one of my main goals, because as one of the speakers at the event said this weekend, and if I could, I hope I could say it right. She said, seduce others to serve you by your service to others. I think that's how she said it. Seduce others to serve you by your willingness to serve others. So that's where it comes, and that kind of leads into what I'm going to talk about tomorrow night, is sowing your seed before you intend to reap it, and that sort of thing. Anyway, that's it for tonight. 17 minutes already. Good Lord. Sorry, guys. I didn't mean to go that long, but I got fired up a little bit about the subject. So that's it for tonight. Thank you guys for joining, and we'll catch you another time real soon. Bye-bye.